Hello and welcome to another one of those videos where I yap about Tinto, talk stuff. Today we're going to be starting off with the Saturday building as per usual. And there's actually some developer responses to this because things changed, and I don't think much of what we're going to be seeing initially in the Admiralty is actually going to be there in the base game when it is released. So, saying there, it's a capital-only building that you unlock through an advance in the age of absolutism. That's fair enough and fine. Monthly sailors can build ships there. If it's in the capital, you gain naval morale. So, initially I thought, that's fine. You know, getting naval morale is fine. If your capital is inland, obviously you won't be able to build ships there. Like, for example, the capital of England is Westminster, which is not inland. It's not on the coast. So this wouldn't apply in sailors. You know, it doesn't matter if you're inland. Sure, you can still gain sailors. However, that just wasn't the case. Johan responded to someone, kind of useless if you have your capital inland. Maybe you can add some more country bonuses. Well, you can't build it then. I imagine if this had a like button, it would have been disliked quite a lot. Apparently the guys are burghers there. Nobles, I would agree, would be a more suitable thing. Then there was a bunch of more talk, let's say, and sure, can remove the port restriction and the sailor build bonus and find some other naval-related bonuses. I don't think much here needed to change, just allow it to be built everywhere, right? Because people were pointing out, for example... Actually, is this one here? No. For example, you know, I responded to Matt for here and said, nah, you'll still get the sailors and naval morale, and then never mind, because I read Johan's comment. And then just asked, why not? Surely an inland capital can still train admirals, get the naval morale and some sailors to use, and you can build ships on the coast. And yeah, here is the, you know, Westminster, Whitehall is where the Great Britain's Admiralty is. And it's not on the coast. And in-game, you know, this is Westminster, this is London. London is a coastal location. Westminster isn't. So, yeah, it looks like it's going to be changed very much. So moving on from this one, though, is something very nice. There was an extra thread today, and let's just go straight to it. They have implemented the new river calculations. This is fantastic. This is exactly what we were looking for. This is exactly what all of the Tinto maps that have come previous to this have been lacking. We've always been saying, especially with the trading area calculations, why am I forgetting the name of it? The trade zone? It's not called the trade zone, it's called something else. I can't remember, but whatever. We've been saying for quite some time that it's not showing any effect of rivers, and it really should, because trade flows through rivers, especially if your country is entirely inland. And this is huge. So this is Hungary, and they're showing the development map mode. It would have been nice if they'd showed the trade map mode, but you can even see if we have a look at... I know it's a terrible image, but this is zoomed in quite a bit, because it's like the entirety of the world on this. But, you know, the Kingdom of Hungary, if you can, you know, imagine where the Donau River is around here, and then, yeah, it's looking very, very different. It's looking a lot better, I would argue. I would have expected a little bit more from the Danube, but I guess that's just mostly, like, slightly here, right? That's where the Danube is. But either way, that's really awesome. And then in the previous Tinto maps on China, when they announced that they had broken up and changed so that there was no more animism religion in the game, I asked, can we get an image of what, for example, Africa would look like with this new system? And, well, we have that. These are the new religions in Sub-Saharan Africa, and that's a lot. That is a lot of change. That's a lot of difference from what we had previously, and yeah, it looks right. It looks great. Sunni, obviously, still up in the north, but everything south of that is, you know, there's a lot of new religions, and I would argue this is very positive when it comes to imagining how the Protestant Reformation is going to appear. So if you think, for instance, if animism is the same as Protestantism, as in it's a name, it's an umbrella for all of this stuff underneath it, a name that will encompass so many other things. So I'm imagining that when we get to see about Protestantism, it's not going to be just Protestantism. I think we already knew that, but they might be willing to add lots and lots and lots and lots of different Protestant faiths, just like they have added lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of animist faiths, and I think that is fantastic. I think it looks great. It looks great. But yeah, that is the only comments that we had from this, other than, well, there are no other dev comments, but I can answer Golden Bill. Rivers cannot host chips. No, they cannot. That was something that was all we've known for quite some time. It's also something that was a comment on the Chinese responses, which I'm not going to go into because there wasn't too much in the way of like new information, just clarity information. But yeah, no, that's really good to see. Really good to see. Moving on, though, to the Tinto Talks number 33, and we're having a look at the responses here. With diplomats, when a diplomat is in one country, is there any way for that diplomat to do more than one action with that country? Nope, they only do a single action, and, a little bit of dislikes on that one. I'm kind of fine with that, because these aren't physical diplomats, it's just spending diplomatic mana in a way. So I think this is perfectly reasonable and fine. There will be a bi-territory diplomatic action, which is making a stark difference to EU4, of course, which only has a sell province button. But if you have the ability to directly ask for land that isn't, the colonial type one that was added later, this is great, meaning that we can diplomatically expand our borders instead of always resorting to war, which will, in all likelihood, be quite a little bit more costly than it was in EU4. What system is there to make alliances more short-lived than EU4, which was mentioned as an objective to achieve? It is not finished yet. That is something that we'd seen, or that I'd theorized when reading the dev diary, that they didn't show anything about alliances in the diplomatic actions that you could do other than, defensive alliances. So it's going to be something new. It's going to be something that we haven't seen before, because if it was just an alliance and this is something that will be static until something changes, then that obviously would be quite easy to implement, because we've seen it in previous games. But the fact that it's something that isn't finished yet makes me think we're getting something brand new, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. Next up, why can't Aragon communicate with the Mamluks? This is something I pointed out is like the main crux of my video. And, well, we get an answer here. Yuan saying, yeah, it looks weird. We need to check what algorithm it uses. And then after a little bit of further investigation, he just found out why. The algorithm is, if the capital is not a port, then it is straight distance between a port and capital, which is an instant calculation, and then we have the distance between all sea zones cached. Slight problem with the Mamluks here is that the closest port to Cairo is the Suez. So the algorithm goes, oh, we have to go all the way around Africa. And for the Golden Horde, it's on the Caspian Sea, so it can't reach anywhere. This will, of course, be fixed. Aragon will be able to talk to the Mamluks. It will be able to talk to the Golden Horde. Naturally, that makes sense. I imagine it is... I don't know. I have no idea how, code is going to work in this instance, but finding the closest port to the capital by a sea zone that can reach someone else, I don't know. Add some if-else's in there as well, and I'm sure it'd be fine. But yes, no, this is fantastic that they've figured out what the issue was, and that will be fixed. I'm sure we'll maybe get an update at some point. That would be nice. But yes, great that that's been fixed. Having 0.3 of a diplomat just feels so wrong. Maybe use the term diplomatic power or diplomatic ability. It's a bit weird, but it's hard to find a good name. Would getting allies be harder than in EU4? I always felt weird how every single country had 2+ allies all the time unless something freaky happens. Why should France ally with random HRE minors? And yet, we already knew that allies cost differently because it's diplomatic capacity. Is there a possibility to have a non-aggression treaty? There is not any designed yet, but it could be doable. I would love that. I think it's fantastic. Great idea. Will customs unions be a thing, basically allowing for trading resources between countries without penalties? There is no design for it yet. Anytime that I see the word yet, I'm like, is Johan thinking of putting this in now? Is that something that has already been planned, but they haven't got around to designing and implementing yet? So I don't think it is ruled out that this will be a thing. I assume you can go over your diplomatic capacity in exchange for some penalties. Yes, but it's not super nice. And letters, this is another thing that I brought up in my video. It would be nice to see what the comparison is if, we have an alliance or if we're going over the diplomatic capacity. So remember, Majorca is a vassal. That was what we had before. Majorca being like a tiny few location minor, with 200, apparently had 200,000 population. I don't remember that, but, could certainly be the case. Yeah, I went and looked it up. It definitely does not have 200,000 populations. 50, 60, 70,000 tops. Compared to Aragon, which had a lot more. Like, yeah. But people were saying that basically, it's got high population. That's why it might be so high. I don't know. But 1.68. If you compare that to an alliance with Portugal, which is 3. I feel like that's alliance with Portugal is probably worth more than a vassal, but either way. And then they've gone over the diplomatic capacity by almost double. What do we get for that? Minus 102 loyalty of subjects. That is insane. Minus 0.3 prestige is very meh. Oh, I mean, I don't like it, but meh. Aggressive expansion impact, plus 3%. Meh. And then diplomatic reputation, minus 6. Kinda harsh. I feel like these definitely do not scale at the same rate, right? Monthly prestige, minus 3. I'm not really caring about that. Let's be honest, it's probably 3.09 as well. Loyalty of subjects, though, good lord, minus 102. If that is opinion, or if that's simply the loyalty number, like in EU4, you have the loyalty of vassal thing. Either way, this is insanely high compared to all of these negatives. Diplomatic reputation is a doubling, but then aggressive expansion impact is basically nothing. Like 3% extra aggressive expansion, I'm not going to care about that. I do feel like these numbers need looking at because these don't make sense to me. Some of these are way too harsh. Some of these are just irrelevant. And I feel like they probably should all be around about the same. And they're also not scaling, right? Other than maybe loyalty of subjects. I'm not sure. I'm not doing the maths on that one, but I probably could. Hang on. Let's pull up the maths. What's 102.13 divided by 3.09? Is there an even number at the end of it? No, but it's 33. It's kind of close. I don't know. Either way, it's kind of... You can kind of understand how it is, it's not looking right. So I'm expecting or hoping something to change here. But moving on. Not there, to here. Is conditional military access gone? Yes. I feel like we knew this already, but it is worth reiterating because it's important. Conditional military access, for those of you who don't know, means if I'm at war... Say I am playing as... France and I'm at war with Castile. If Castile gets military access through Italy, that means France has military access through Italy. That's conditional, right? My enemy has military access, therefore I do. That's gone. So I guess in a way it is more realistic. In another way, I can foresee elements where people will be able to hide their armies in neutral territory. Say, again, I'm getting absolutely dumpstered, so I'm going to hide my army in the military access of Navarra. And then France can't get to me. Or, yeah, that kind of way. which seems a little bit weird. Maybe there is going to be a bonus to, the ability to get military access through a country if your enemy has military access through a country. I don't know. But definitely there seems to be, this is something that Johan did not like, and it is not there anymore. And gameplay implications, we're going to have to wait and see. I can see both sides of this particular argument. But moving on. Can we increase diplomatic corps by increasing the spending of it? Yes, you can. There is a whole ass slider for it. We have not seen this slider for a very long time. Seeing the slider again now, and also, we see the stability one there as well. Minus 13 ducats though. Minus 13 ducats to get it to 1/3, and I'm assuming this is not a game in progress where he's already conquered like half of Europe. I'm assuming this is probably looking at the same small country. Aragon. It's really going to be quite difficult to understand the economy from just seeing individual screenshots, because prices kind of seem to be all over the place. If we're spending 13 ducats on diplomatic spending, but a building costs a base amount of 50 ducats, I don't really know where to place economy yet. It's going to take a little bit of playing with, for sure. But yeah, moving on. I'm a little puzzled about the food access option. Does this mean that military access gives access to your troops? Or if you want to feed them, you also need the food access? Or does military access always give you the food access? And the food access essentially allows you to form supply lines through the country in question. I mean, it's a decent question, right? Military access is, I need to march my army through your land. I will not take food from you, as I carry my own. Food access means I need to get food from you, and I may have to have my army in your country for a bit to prepare for something. You also could have auxiliaries marching food back and forth doing supply lines if you don't get food access. Cool, love that. And then, this is not something I was planning on showing, but, it's right here. So, British Isles Tinto map review is going to be coming when Dave is back from parental leave. So, finally, the last one that I've got to show you. Would it be possible to threaten war for other goals, such as stopping piracy or ending an embargo? Not at the moment. 41 dislikes. I'm going to assume this is going to change, because, firstly, at the moment, if it was a flat no, I would be more confident that that would be the answer. But not at the moment makes me think that maybe he's considering changing this, because I think, threatening to stop piracy is a really good thing. It is what happens in EU4 multiplayer diplomaticness, right? If somebody's pirating you, you tell them physically over Discord voice call, stop pirating me or I will declare war. Now, well, not now, because not at the moment, but it'd be nice if there was a mechanic for that as well, because the AI, unfortunately, is not in Discord. So, yeah, that is all I have for you. I would like to know what your thoughts are, especially on rivers. Rivers being a thing, huge, loving that very much. But also, what other diplomatic actions for threat and war, right, would you like to see? What other diplomatic actions for, where is the thing that I was looking for? What do you think this is going to be, for example? What ability to make alliances shorter do you think there's going to be? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. I do read all of my comments. I'm not yet big enough to that it's spam and I can't get to them all, so I read them all. But yeah, if you want to keep up to date with all things Tinto Talks, I will be back on Wednesday with, of course, something new. We have no idea what it's going to be on Wednesday. It is something that is not in any previous game, as far as we're aware. And I'm very excited for it. And if you would like to make sure that you don't miss it, hit the subscribe button. If you want to help me out, likes and comments always are appreciated. And I will see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.